Welcome to a Song of Ice and Whiskey podcast, where we drink and we know things.
Welcome back to yet another episode of A Song of Ice and Whiskey. I'm Doug Harrelson. I'm here to talk a little Westeros and whiskey with you, with my friend here, Luke Aldridge. Luke, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. A lot more people have power out here after that big, crazy winter storm. Still got a few without power, but it's starting to. We're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So ice is melting. It's still kind of cold, but doing good. We got a new episode.
Yeah, great episode. So excited to get into it. So we'll try to keep the intro to at least a minimal, because boy, do we got some stuff to talk about that we've kind of danced around for the last couple episodes of the show. Ironically, I lost power yesterday. My hot water heater also was leaking everywhere. Like it's been a mess at the Harrelson household. Lost the cell phone, but we're gonna be okay. We're gonna get through. So Luke is once again sober. Like we gotta get this man an intervention or a sponsor or something. Like it's just the brand is in shambles right now. A Song of Ice and Whiskey is what it's called, my friend. Sorry. I have to bust his balls a little bit. Oh, I meant to tell you.
I got to show you what I'm drinking.
Hey, we're allowed to swear now. I'm just gonna edit it out, okay? So, cheers.
Fair enough. But I got Prime Cherry Ice Zero. That's what I'm drinking. But next week I should have some spirits, some whiskey.
Hell yeah. So I am rocking the old classic Jameson because I wanted to enjoy a couple Irish root beers this afternoon while I waited for me and you to be able to link up and chat today. For those that are unaware, it's Jameson and Bailey's, though I have a knockoff Bailey's because they didn't have it at the liquor store I was at, and I was not about to make two trips. But yeah, so we're going to be rocking Jameson tonight. Oh, and then root beer. Yeah. So root beer, Bailey. Anything called Irish, it's usually just Bailey's and Jameson added to it. Let me set this bottle down real quick so that there's no liquor harmed in the making of this podcast. Cheers. Salute.
Cheers.
Jameson's my go-to, so this is I feel back at home now, but I'm gonna keep trying to mix up the whiskeys. It makes it more fun. Plus, I'm gonna end up trying.
Oh yeah, you're buzzed. I'm hydrated.
That just means I have to drink twice as much once again. But
good drink for me.
All right, so great episode. Like I've been looking forward to this episode for a while. The reveal at the end obviously is going to be one of the things to mind. But let's start slow. Let's start intro. So we had the opening scene. Like I did like the him just blowing like the, and then it cut with the horse sound, and then cut to the horse, and then had a little. I'm loving the actor Dexter San Enzel. I might be butchering his name, which is a damn shame because the kid has some acting chops, like, and his chemistry with Peter is phenomenal. Like, how did you enjoy kind of these early scenes with Dunk and Egg kind of bonding and living a life in Westeros?
I loved it. It was it's kind of what the whole show is about, the whole book series too. It's about the relationship between Dunk and Egg, and that, yeah, like you said, that actor, perfect. When I'm reading the book, that's who pops up in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, the look, the same height. I mean, people think any bald kid, could. It's like, no, this kid, he's got that whimsical air to him, but at the same time, he could be nice and crass at certain times, and he can kind of cut through Dunk. He has that little bit of arrogance that a son of a prince would have, or a prince.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it actually helps Dunk too, in certain spots. Things Dunk knows nothing about in that world. He's Egg has this classical education, and he's able to jump in with the names of these lords and their houses and banners, things like that, and the rules of the tourney.
Yeah.
So yeah, that yeah.
Yeah, he's like, "Are you a High Lord or famous knight or whatever?" And he knows the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Just
my favorite part of that scene was Yeah, it was. Well, then why have I been vomiting all morning or throwing up?
It's a mystery.
Yeah,
He's got
yeah,
this weird combination of charisma, confidence, knowledge. Well, competence leads to confidence. Like, if you know what you're talking about, you are more likely to be confident in what you're talking about. And Egg knows what he's talking about, and
he does.
Dunk does
He still
not.
has enough humility, though. He's young enough, and he not all children that age that are grew up with that kind of privilege would. I'm always surprised when Dunk yells at him or something, and just waiting for him to say, "You know who I am," But he has somehow has the restraint to say to kind of look down and be humble.
Well, when he's having that conversation on the hill, where he's like talking about having like the second most beautiful daughter of uh, some High Lord, I think he actually aspires to not be a royal Targaryen. Like, I think he actually would prefer to live kind of the hedge knight lifestyle. Like, he,
He almost the what he describes is like a landed knight. Uh, Like
yeah,
he
yeah,
wants
yeah,
some property. He
100%,
wants
yeah.
to grow some oats and raise some cattle or whatever he said. Not sheep though, but
No lambs.
he
He doesn't want to
or
talk about what
lambs.
happened
That's
on
what
that
it was.
lamb cart.
Yeah.
There's an effect in
But he,
storytelling where mystery is sometimes greater than actual knowledge of it. There's a Rick and Morty episode where I believe Jerry and Rick see something
yeah.
on a video that absolutely makes them both completely repulsed, but they never show the audience. Which it's kind of that, like, by not showing it to you, your imagination is far more creative. Like, what happened on that
Right.
lamb cart, Egg? What happened?
He didn't want to talk about it.
But I want to.
I do. Of course, I wonder how long that journey from that tavern is to the turning. It couldn't have been that long.
Well, they said it's a day's ride from the barmaid
Oh, okay.
tells Dunk it's a day's ride from here.
That's right. That's
So
right.
we do have some sort of time scaling and stuff.
Hmm.
We also kind of forgot to mention this, and we did want to talk about this. Robin Reisling's eye patch, and
Right.
Game of Thrones has never done a bunch of flashbacks. It's just not really part of their storytelling narrative.
Right.
But this show has used flashbacks a ton. Obviously, the Sir Arlen flashbacks, and now this Robin Reisling flashback, and absolutely gory. I accidentally paused it when I was taking notes for the show, right where you actually see his eye just dangling from his
Oh,
head, and I was like, I did not need to see this.
I didn't catch that.
Well,
I mean, I saw the scene.
it was
I
because
didn't
of when it was
catch the.
paused, because it's moving so fast that in fast motion you don't. It's hard to tell exactly what's happening. But yeah, his eyeball is just dangling there. I'm like, oh, don't like
But he
that.
kept going.
Do not like
Like
that.
he's a badass.
Yeah.
He just kept going. But I can't remember what he said. He's like, he just kept fighting. But
Yeah.
that I liked the Dunk. What was he? What did he say? He said something, and then it's like, "Where's your eye?" or something like that. What did he say?
Oh,
Where's your?
Egg. Yeah. Reisling asks about the hair, and to which Egg
Oh yeah.
responds, "Well, what happened to your eye?" Fair is fair. But at that point, you see Egg
And he kind
immediately
of it's
register.
true
Oh,
state.
I know exactly who you are. Again, Egg much
Yeah,
too smart for his own good. But
really is. Yeah, that kind of worked out pretty well. And then Robin tried to grab the horse, and it kind of pushed him away. And he's like, "All right, fine."
especially when he
So
sees
be it.
Egg walk up to him, and this is a common like movie and television trope, or just storytelling trope in general, is to show a character's good, you show them be kind to children, elderly, and animals. And to show someone is bad,
Mhm.
you'll do the corollary, where you'll show them be evil to children, older, or animals. And we'll get to that when we talk about Egg's brother. But we'll slow our horses right now. Oh, horses! That was
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that, but I'll
Right.
take credit for it either way.
So, but it did give us the scenes where we get to see them watching the tourney,
Yeah,
and that was priceless.
they talk about it in the behind the episode. And Peter Clapley talks about it being like an older brother, younger brother dynamic there, where like they're bonding and they're close, but there's also a protective nature. We also saw Dunk in that scene drink something that I'm gonna assume was some liquor, because he was not prepared
Had
for
to be.
that. And he drinks ale. I'm sure he'd be fine with some wine. Like he's not a sober Sally. Like he could come on the show and drink with us, and it'd be great. But yeah,
Right.
the reaction that he had from taking that swig was that had to be
It
some
was priceless.
potent stuff. We got that
And then the cackling.
Ashford Meadow moonshine.
It's almost like when someone comes to the bar and they're used to drink all they ever. Well, I just drink wine or I just drink Coors Light, and you give them a shot of, I don't know, even like something like Jaeger or
Rumplemans.
Rumpel. Of course, Rumpel is an immediate love hate. I loved it from the first time I took a shot of Rumpel.
I love it, but it hates my well-being.
Agreed. But yeah, that was interesting. But and I also like the so we have that scene with the goose eggs. He goes into town, he's getting the breakfast, and he's asking for these goose eggs. The guy must speak some other language because he lifts up the knife to chop the goose's head off. He's no, 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 no. It takes a couple tries. The eggs, the eggs. Of course, right then, Tansel shows up.
Of
And
course.
he turns and he's shocked and he's fumbling for words. And what did he say? You like goose eggs? And she just kind of looks him up and down, ignores
Tells him
the
that his
whole
shield will be
that what
ready
he said.
later. Like,
Your shield will be ready in the evening.
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I thought, and then of course the scene of him like basically half a loaf of bread, throwing an egg and some bacon in the middle, and they're just chowing down. You got the whistling in the background. I love that scene. It's just these big, and they're just relishing this stuff. That had to be like eating like a king back then.
Well, the director of the episode, and, again, I'm referencing the after episode, behind the episode that they always do on these HBO shows. The director, whose name evades me at this point of this episode, she directed episodes 3, 4, and 6. So this is the first one we've seen her direct. She talks about how like they've just been eating hard salt beef. She wanted this breakfast sandwich to be something that they like, to just be just an amazing experience for them, and like a reward, and for all the like kind of grinding they've been doing this whole week.
Yeah.
They've been there, or a whole couple of days they've been there. All right, I have to talk about my favorite little quirk from the episode. The eggs version of Mrs. Susie. Like, if you're familiar with the concept of the song that leads you into, for example, but grass is red all over when you kill a rebel, horses die in battle. I found that so awesome. That song is not in the book, nor is another song that we'll get to later. These guys are doing a great job of filling in the world in a way that feels organic and natural and true to George's vision.
Yeah.
And
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is I've noticed that when it matters, the dialogue is spot on. Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Matches the book. But when it's lacking, when it's just kind of going through a scene and there's not dialogue to be had, they add in some cool scenes. And I mean, I haven't been disappointed yet. That song was great. It was almost like, did you watch the Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings?
I have
newer
not.
On Amazon. There's an episode at the end of one of the episodes, Tom Bombadil starts singing, and he has this song, and I don't think it was in the books, but it was just something about it kind of captured the mood, and that's kind of what honestly every song I've heard so far in this series has done, especially this one.
We mentioned in the first episode, or it was either the first or second episode, how television is a different medium than a book. You have to cut some stuff that makes sense in a book, translate it the way they do his thoughts with him talking to the horses, or add some things to fill in spaces that are not covered in the books, because it's just a different medium. Because a book can so easily go from one paragraph talking about something to talking about what's happening hours later. Scenes don't work like that. So there has to, and they are doing a great job with the handling of that, while still being true to the nature of the lore. And I think that a lot of book purists get, in particular, real upset about too many modifications to the thing they love. Look at any Game of Thrones discussion. House of the Dragon Season 2 got a lot of heat for some of this stuff. They're doing a fantastic job. And these little quirks and stuff might have been too silly for something like House of the Dragon, but it feels so at home in this story. And especially when you take in the personalities of the two leads with Peter and Dexter, it feels in like it belongs. And
oh yeah, that's a tough tightrope to walk because, like you just said, it's just like the drama we talked about last week. House of the Dragon, I think they rushed through a bunch of things, and they just didn't walk that tightrope like this show is. And I think we got a ways to go, but I mean, 3 episodes in, I haven't been disappointed. But maybe a book purist out there might be able to pick at something, but I haven't noticed anything that bothers me. I haven't felt anything's left out yet.
Well, you and I both follow several other like Thronesy sort of YouTube channels and podcasts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've generally heard a lot of positive things. The only critiques I've heard here or there have been worry about like the pacing, and that there's going to be episodes where big stuff doesn't happen in that Game of Thrones sense. But I think that's where the 30-minute episode makes sense. If you have an hour-long episode and nothing happens, it's a little alarming. If you have a 30-minute episode and only minor things happen, but there's some character development, we can live with that.
Right. Well, it and of course in the book it kind of leads up to scenes where things happen pretty quickly, especially in these novellas, like in this show. Whereas again, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, it's stretching across months. Months could pass between a scene or between the character POVs. But I think in this, they have more room to throw in this whimsical stuff, these songs, these little fun scenes. But
I think you hit something very pointed there. In Game of Thrones, we could have weeks, months separating individual scenes. Like they could be. The scenes in this show are separated by hours at best. This is like, and for those that are not kept up with the lore, this tournament at Ashford Meadow, we're not going to leave Ashford Meadow during season 1. Versus Game of Thrones season 1, people are constantly on the move. The chessboard is very active. This is more just little compacted stories of these two characters that me and you have come to love, and I do feel like the audience is. If you're listening to a podcast or watching a YouTube video about this show because either A, you love either one of us and we appreciate you, or you are enjoying the show, obviously. And I think it was time for, I mentioned this in the first episode, it's good for Game of Thrones to have a different pace to it at times. And this story's kind of perfect.
I think, yeah. Game of Thrones spreads across continents. one scene they're in the north of Westeros, the next scene they're in Dorne. You know, it's all over the place. And like you said, here there's multiple POVs, and in this the POV is Dunk and Egg.
Yeah.
It's not all the other characters kind of revolve around them. So just a different type of story, but I've loved it so far.
All right, so we then get a character that was only in one scene in the book, and that was the games master. He's referred to as a steward in the book, Plumber. I don't believe they've explicitly mentioned his name in the show, because in fact I had a text from a coworker asking, hey, what is his name? We're trying to figure out who the actor is, but we don't know what the character's name is. So I had to help her out with that. He's over here trying to fix matches in a Westerosi jousting. And here I am, the degenerate sports bettor, being like, okay, well, what's the juice on it? Can I parlay it with over and under number of Francis broke? What happens if you what happens if you don't pay money to your Westerosi bookie? Do they break your kneecaps?
I mean, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's Plumber that goes after you. I don't know if he sends the goons, the men at arms. I don't know. Maybe he goes and finds Stefan Fossaway and lets him tells him they said something mean about him and lets him loose on him.
They probably give you the Ashford chair from episode 1 is probably what happens.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
I'll never forget about that.
I like what I liked is at the beginning when he's like, Sir Duncan, and then he starts with the.
And the way they transitioned that scene was so cool, because he hawks it up, and then the scene cuts with him spitting in a new area, perfectly in rhythm, with really good videography there. But the cinematography even when Game of Thrones was bad, the cinematography was good. Even the acting, cinematography, the production. HBO knows how to make visually appealing television. Maybe not always well written television, but visually appealing. Absolutely crush it every time. Even for something as simple as this.
Yeah. That was and you didn't get that tidbit about Lord Ashford. I don't think you did from the books, where it was like he's gone into great debt for this. It's implied because that a lot of these lords have gone into great debt, and that's kind of a theme that we see. But it's and the rundown on that was Dunk beats him, he falls, and then he gets his armor and horse.
Yeah.
And he gets a little richer, and he's one of the champions at first, at least, and then he can. It's a good deal, but Dunk kind of decide. It's almost like it's almost as if I wonder why he even asked him. I guess he would have had to challenge him. I guess that's the problem. He wouldn't have organically faced up against this guy.
You just hit the nail on the head, because I've seen that discussion brought up. Well, why would he even tell him? He was just gonna. There's no guarantee that would have been, and they don't explicitly explain how this tournament works, but you have your 5 champions, they kind of hold a seat, then all of the other knights are allowed to challenge any specific one of them. If the champion loses, the knight that defeated them is now the new champion and takes their place on that group of 5. So he would have to challenge one of the 5. It wouldn't necessarily have been Ashford in particular. And Ashford kind of crushed his first battles, so they're building the narrative that he's an unstoppable force. So having this goofy, giant, hedged knight defeat him would be against the popular bet. So it could create a very lucrative situation for those on the other end. I'm not exactly sure how they price out betting back in Westeros. One of the topics I'm very familiar with in real Earth is sports betting and how the sportsbook makes its money off of pricing things appropriately. I am curious. I want to look more into medieval betting, because I've thought about this topic a lot, actually. An unhealthy
Yeah.
amount, if I'm honest. But,
And it existed in the real world.
yeah.
There's no way it didn't. It's
You
been going
don't
on
think they
for.
were throwing dollars at, well, not dollars, but the Roman equivalent. What was the Roman currency? I should know this. I know more Westerosi history than Earth history, unfortunately. But in the Colosseum, they were wagering bets against the various people fighting in the arena there.
Oh yeah, and that was before that. This is set in a pseudo medieval era. That was antiquity.
Yeah.
But right, but that was interesting. It does show us something about Dunk's character though. It's like he could have he had a done deal there. It's like he's kind of he could lose his armor, but if he does this, now he's got some cash to play with. He's got two sets of horses, two sets of armor, and he's got a little wiggle room, and then he could find his legs and go up against. But he's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, you're right. If he wins one fight, he is set up really well going forward. If he loses his first fight, he's entirely cooked. So a chance at
Yeah.
a free victory where the guy's just gonna take the lance, fall over, and you're gonna get paid. But Dunk is about honor, so you can see this bothers him. Though he does discuss with Raymond in the tent later on what he would think about that match and whatnot. And I think to see if he thinks that's a believable thing to happen, he's almost like poking the water. So he's at least tempted by this because the stakes are too high. And I think he also would really want to keep his promise to Egg that if I win my first, you can come on and squire for me. He wants that to be an opportunity. He has started to care for the young lad. In the books, he even mentions that he feels like because of what the old man did for me, this is my way to repay, is by taking... And that would have been back a little bit in the story arc, but this is a thought that happens in his head when he first decides to let Egg stay for the tournament, is this is my chance to repay the debt from the old man helping me when I was young and didn't have anywhere to go. Because he still thinks he's some orphan boy. We'll get to that.
Right. Yeah.
You want to talk villains?
Yeah. I think we're about there. I like first we've got Valar, come out, little knight.
Oh, he didn't say that to Valar. He said that to the.
Oh, that's right. No,
that he had battled there, but where he.
Yeah, he was that first or was Valar first?
He talked to Valar and he was like, "Relax, brother. I'm not going to embarrass you."
That's what it was. Yeah, and that's he obviously Aerion has a little insecurity because he's not the heir, whereas Valar is. Valar's Baelor Breakspear's son. And Aerion's several people removed. But that was kind of. I'm sure we'll see a little more of that dynamic going forward. But he's just, he's arrogant. He's arrogant. He's and yeah, I don't know.
This episode, or honestly, this show entirely does a really good job of showing you the good and the bad of House Targaryen.
Yeah.
There's definitely good and there's definitely bad.
Yeah, you have good, bad, and even gray characters because you have you see the honor of Baelor, right? You see the honor, the humility of Baelor Breakspear. He almost has a Ned Stark quality to him. Just very fair, very humble. Then you see Makar or Mirkar, however you pronounce it.
Yeah,
and that might have been an embellishment by the announcer guy.
I was thinking about this past week. Miakar, but it's Maekar, and I've heard every person that talks about this stuff say Makar. That's the way it reads in the book.
Yeah.
Miakar,
I think it was an embellishment by that announcer. I think
because it was also
I don't think it really
was like he gives this great introduction to Baelor, and then it's like, oh yeah, also Miakar, like,
and Mirkar, his brother.
Yeah.
But I would consider Makar, whatever. I would consider him somewhat of a gray character because he's not just all out bad. He's not evil, as you'll see this later. But
he's a bit of a jerk.
he's just very
I'm not saying he's a bad.
he's a jerk.
He's not evil, but he is a bit
Yeah.
of a jerk.
Yeah, he's irritable. He's just irritable, and of course, as Baylor says, part of that is because his two sons are missing, and even if they weren't missing, then he has issues with how they're conducting themselves. Daron. They say Daron is a drunk, and he's probably off drinking somewhere. And I don't know if Egg. We don't really get their opinion on Egg yet. My guess is they just think he's mischievous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of, he's just a kid. It's kind of hard to tell.
We'll get to that scene in a second, but they cut it at a really
right.
good spot of like foreshadowing for a scene that happens right after that. The one last thing I want to say from the scene of Aerion. Well, honestly, let's discuss that scene. Aerion stabbing the horse directly in the neck. Dunk notices immediately. Oh. He notices immediately. His lance is too low. He knows something bad's going to happen. And we talked about this earlier. Those that harm animals, children, older people. This is a storytelling and narrative way to pin this character down as evil. This is the antagonist. This is your problem in the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course, I think the minute Egg sees him, I think he beats Dunk to it. He knows the minute he's out there, he's going to do something
hostile,
something bad, something hostile, and he's not going to play by the rules. And he, of course, like you said, I feel like Dunk still has this kind of sheen over the Targaryens, where he. Of course, he meets Baelor and he's smitten. It's like he's the epitome of honor and all this, and he's still trying to work out the thing with Aerion. He's like, well, he had that interaction with him in the last episode, and it's like, well, he's not he just doesn't know much about him yet, and you see back to the with Raymond. He still doesn't quite know. He doesn't. His opinion is not super low of the Targaryens, but I'm sure that shook his confidence in them a little bit, seeing him just, kill that horse. And for a second, it's almost like he wonders if it's an accident or if it's on purpose. And of course, they're walking away, and he tells Egg, he's like, you got to be able, you can't look away when this stuff happens. If I'm out in the field and that happens, you have to be able to jump up, pass me a lance, help me along.
You can't be shook by the moment, no matter how intense. You hit some really good notes. We talked about this in the last episode, how Dunk kind of believes that knights are good, and he's starting to see, and he even is still trying to cling to his beliefs that is true. But he's starting to see that not all knights are good. And we're also kind of seeing this. Some of the Targaryens are really good, and not all of the Targaryens are good at all. I loved Baelor's reaction to all of this. To him mocking Valar for a second. No dialogue was said by Baelor, and it was a phenomenal acting job. Just his expressions alone. As soon as he sees him put the lance through the horse's neck, he's like, are you kidding me, dude? Like...
Yeah,
I'm trying to have our family have peaceful relationships with the realm, and you're over here doing this jackass behavior. I'll edit that out.
Yeah, it's a disappointment, and he's about as close to the wise figure as you can get. Of course, we haven't met, and we probably won't meet Daron the Good, but. And next to him, Baelor is highest ranking person, definitely at this tourney, but he's number 2 in
Hand of the king. He's the second most powerful man in the
He's
realm.
the hand of the king. He's not just the crown prince. He's the hand of the king.
Yeah.
He, same as another Baelor.
Heir to the Iron Throne. titles.
Yeah. But so his disappointment should mean something to Aerion, but it probably doesn't, because Aerion, he's pretty arrogant. He doesn't care. He's got a chip on his shoulder because he's not He's not the heir. His dad's not the crown prince.
He makes a fantastic villain though, and I love the actor that's playing him too. I know I keep saying this about every
Oh
actor,
yeah,
but HBO has always done a good job with these shows of casting, and he
yeah,
he represents the worst of the vanity, the worst of the cruelty of House Targaryen in general. He's like the perfect sort of antithesis to someone like Baelor. Like he is the complete
yeah,
opposite.
yeah. He kind of, it's that phrase, when a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the wrong side, along with you know some others. We got later on we have Eris. He's you kind of see where Eris gets that madness.
I don't believe this is a Game of Thrones thing, but there is madness and greatness that are just opposite sides of the same coin. I don't believe
Yeah,
it's related
I've
to
heard
the
that
Game of
too.
Thrones thing, but I think the Targaryen family is a excellent example of that. I mean, even Daenerys' arc at the back end of Game of Thrones, and I don't want to get too far into season 8 Game of Thrones because I'm
Yeah,
in a good mood right now, and that might ruin it. I might end up
yeah.
drinking more
To
of my liquor than I should.
well, to go back, you're talking about madness and greatness. To go back to what Robin Riesling said, what did he say about madness?
The
When
warrior,
did eggs taste?
it was the warrior calls us to be great or something to that extent. And sometimes madness
Mhm.
is what we're called to do there. It was very religious of the seven. Speaking of the warrior and
Yeah.
stuff. All right.
Hmm.
We do got to move forward. I am loving this topic though, but we do have more to
Yeah.
discuss because we still haven't got to the penultimate scene. Before that scene is happening, Raymond and Dunk are in a tent discussing things, and I see this scene as Dunk continuing to unravel that not all knights are good, not all royalty and nobility is good. In fact, sometimes the royalty and nobility are the worst of the people.
Yeah.
And Raymond continues, or Raymond in this scene hammers home that point, calls them incestuous aliens, and says the best thing that a Targaryen can do is to not
Not get
spill
a
their
not
seed
get anybody
inside
pregnant.
of their
Yeah.
wife, and to instead do it on the
Yeah.
chest. He later credits that line to his cousin Stefan.
Yeah.
And this
Y-
shows how a little bit of kind of the Targaryens falling from grace a little bit because no one would dare besmirch House Targaryen back in Rhaenyra Targaryen and Aegon's era back during the Dance of the Dragons. You knew better than to
Yeah.
ever say anything bad against the House of the Dragon.
Yeah. Because you'll face a literal dragon.
Yeah.
I mean, like nobody but Dorne really defied. In the end, nobody but Dorne got the best of Aegon the Conqueror.
Yeah.
They were scared. I mean, same thing with Maegor. He pounded them into the ground. But yeah, I Raymond knows what's up, and he's more in this world. So when Dunk says, can't believe a knight would act like that, or what did he say? Something like that.
Uh,
I thought all knights were.
a
He
knight of
said
an honorable
something, and then Raymond
house.
said, "Why?"
Yeah.
Yeah, Raymond just seemed surprised at his innocence. He's like, "Why?
Yeah.
Why not? Why?
Great
Why,
choice of
why does
words.
that put you
Innocence.
back?"
Innocence or just being generally naive.
Yeah, it he like I said, he just yeah, he he's more involved, and Dunk is still learning these things, and uh, I think
But that's where you gotta have a
at the end
friend
of
that
this
lets you know
episode,
what's up.
yeah, and Raymond's he's a cool character
I'm
because
loving it.
he's such a nice dude. He's just like he didn't have to. I mean, even though he's lower on the apple tree, he didn't have to invite this rando to this tent to have cider with him. But I get the feeling that Raymond is lower on the rung, and he probably doesn't have as many friends, and it's probably easier for him to relate to Dunk. He's kind of feels shunned,
So
and but
from just reading the book, he was the character I was most excited to see on screen of the non-main characters or non-Targaryen characters. I wanted to see him. I wanted to see Baelor. Those are the two I really, really just had to see on screen.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lionel Baratheon has endeared all of our hearts. And
Oh, yeah.
I love the actor playing Maekar.
And Plumber.
Plumber had like three, maybe 2 pages in the book, maybe, and then but they've expanded his role, which it was a good role to expand, and the actor playing him he's nailing it. Like, I really love the show. They have killed these opening episodes. We needed this after the stress of Hot D season 2. But we had referred to this earlier, where he starts listing the sons of Maekar, or Miakar. I'm going to call him Maekar until I'm proven otherwise.
I am too.
Daeron's a sot. He's a drunk. Daeron the Drunken is his name in history. Aerion is absolutely evil and cruel. They reference the third son, who is, quote, so useless they sent him off to the Citadel to become a maester. Maester Aemon, ladies and gentlemen, of the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
Our first reference of him, I don't think we'll get to see him or interact with him in the show.
Egg!
I had a dream that I was old. This is
Egg
is Aemon's little brother.
Hard.
And then he says...
It's so cool to hear about that.
I loved this transition. He goes, and the fourth son, and right then Egg walks in. Or the youngest son. I think he said youngest son. And right then he walks in. It was a subtle little nod, because at this point, Egg has not revealed his true identity. So it was, again, just a little subtle nod that they put. Ira Parker and the directors have all done a great job of just these little subtle nudges.
Yeah. And we don't get the opinion either. We don't hear what the opinion is of him. Again, just speaking practically though, it's like he's a kid. You kind of, even though people grow up quicker in that world, he's still so young that it's kind of hard it would be hard to guess what they think of him, like, other than him being kind of mischievous, but anyway, you're right. That was a very well done scene.
Yeah. So then that leads us to a scene that I think both of us have looked forward to since we first read it on the paper, at least for me. Like, the first time I read this scene of Egg's big reveal, I was thoroughly looking forward to this one in action, because this is the first real intense moment of tension that we face during this show.
Yeah, I think it's, if not the most pivotal scene, it's in the top 3 in the entire. That'll be in this entire first season. It's maybe the most important scene. Again, if not, but
there's a lot of stuff still.
And
but this is the first moment where you feel like, oh, this is still part of Game of Thrones, even if this has been a little bit more lighthearted and easy and.
Yeah, and you almost wonder, like, what is Aerion doing? He's probably out looking for trouble, and he's got his goons with him too. He doesn't. You wonder if he heard about it.
Go anywhere without their royal guard, at least. Maybe not the King's Guard, but at least their house guard. Like,
yeah, because King's Guard, there's only so many. Some of them are back in King's Landing protecting the king. They're probably more focused on protecting Maekar and Baelor.
Well, Maekar is left at this point.
They do have house, like you said, house written.
He is.
That's right, because he's looking for the kids.
Because they even mentioned that Aerion would not behave in such a way if his father was there. When his father's eyes are on him, he behaves.
So this happens, and he probably, like you said, his father left. He's going to go out and start some trouble, and we see that. It's what did you think of that scene, Doug?
So because it's one that I've been looking forward to for a while, I had a little bit of nervousness that I may have overbuilt it in my head. And while it doesn't look exactly like my mind's eye did, again, the book, these are like straw puppets, or like finger puppets.
Yeah.
However, the tension, the intensity, it was very well done. It matched what we needed. I thought that they did a very good job with the pacing of Aerion's speech. I thought that it was very menacing, cool, calm. There's almost something sinister and evil about someone that is doing something malicious, but calmly. It makes you a more terrifying villain in a weird way. And the music, when Egg makes the reveal, when he calls the knights, and Dunk's telling him to go away. Like, you're going to get hurt, and he was like, they'll have to answer to my father. They don't want that smoke. And then he calls these guards by their names and tells them to let go, and they do. And Dunk's at that point like, hold up. Something's going on. And then he hears them refer to each other as brother. It's still one of my favorite lines. And this one's straight from the book. Why did you cut your hair, brother? And he says, I didn't want to look like you.
I didn't want to look like you. Yeah. And that's a pretty good burn, honestly.
The sass of Egg is completely undefeated.
Yeah. And what did he say? He said, you've loosened one of my teeth, so now I'm gonna
knock out all of yours.
What did he say? Yeah, go ahead and break out Aerison. And that's when Egg. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to see that.
I noticed it on the second watch through. He actually is sitting down, just like casually sitting directly next to him, just staring down. The
Egg is?
No, Aerion. He's staring down Dunk.
Oh yeah.
When these guys are all standing around him, he wants a front row seat to this.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna call him Joffrey yet because you gotta work for that title, but he is not a friendly boy.
What did I hear? It was like someone compared him to Draco Malfoy. I think he's a little more evil than Draco Malfoy though.
Especially early movie Draco, where we're not 100% sure of like his motives or his decision making. He just wants to. I appreciated the later movie Draco. We could get deep into that discussion. Hey, maybe we'll do a Harry Potter cast one day.
Right.
I also wanted to comment on one other thing from this scene, though. The music that they had going when they were cutting back and forth. Again, just stylistically, this show is so different than what we've seen in this series, but the tension in that, and the music, I said before, reminded me of like The Legend of Zelda. This felt more like the intensity of like a Star Wars like opera thing, with the way the music was like peaking towards this scene, and then it would like cut to Egg, and then like a note would hit, cut to Dunk, a note would hit, cut to Aerion, a note would hit, and it would just keep cutting to everybody as the notes continue to hit. It was really well put together and not at all what I would have envisioned for this scene, but I'm very happy with how well executed it was.
Yeah, I liked it. And of course they save that kind of music for, it contrasts with the sing-songs we get and the little whistling when they're eating the sandwiches.
They brought that back from the first episode. I like that jingle, though.
Oh, yeah. No, are you talking about the whistling?
Yeah.
I love that.
It makes me feel like I'm at Long Ranch in The Legend of Zelda. Like, that's the vibes. I know it's not the same notes or anything. Please, music people, don't tell me why I'm stupid. But it just gives those vibes. Like, everything's relaxed. Yeah. We're gonna ride our horse around. We're gonna make some like breakfast sandwiches. Everything's good. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. I saw another YouTube creator as comparing. I'm just talking about the music. We go back to Lionel, comparing him to the Dionysus. Just the hedonism and kind of, and you kind of get that too. You get that. You get the whimsical with Dunk and Egg goofing off. You get the that kind of hedonistic music, kind of raunchy. So what was that song again? The song with Lionel and
Alice with
Targaryen.
Alice with Three Fingers. So she was good at certain things that some gentlemen might enjoy in their recreational time. the really good scene. I wanted to talk
Yeah.
more about this, but we were already going over, so we kind of
Right,
skipped over that in our notes just to
Yep.
kind of progress to the bigger parts of the episode. But yeah, that
Yeah.
we'll have to do
I just threw that in because the music.
we'll have to do an episode just talking about the music from this season at some point. It's
Oh
it's
yeah,
been
it
great.
deserves its own
Like
episode.
the sing songs, whether it's the music that's the backdrop music or it's actually in episode music done by the characters, like Dunk
Right.
or Egg song earlier that I mentioned, and the song with is Baratheon and Dondarrion drunkenly singing along, and then Dunk and Egg have their own commentary over that as well.
Yeah.
All right, we wanted to kind of keep this short. This is actually going to be our longest episode yet. It's a running thing. By the time we get to episode like 15, we're going to be talking for like a week and a half. Our friends and family will begin to be worried.
Yep.
All right. I think this week we've kind of talked about it. This week we do want to do a little spoiler section. Are you game? I kind of want to talk about what we should expect from the next 3 episodes. Last week I didn't feel it was appropriate because this episode would be so pivotal in what happens next.
Right. We got the big reveal, and that's not. We might not see that, and we're not going to spoil anything. We're not going to spoil anything at the very end.
Yeah. So,
but I guess this is a spoiler section.
If you have not read the source material and you would like to keep some things a mystery, this would be a good time to log off. Before you do, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave us a comment. And honestly, one thing we're going to be looking forward to is after the season of the show, we're going to be talking about other topics, more evergreen topics.
Yep.
I know one of the ones I want to do. I want to talk about Maegor and Aenys, the sons of Aegon, and kind of the Maegor, the cruel sort of reign. I think that's just so fascinating. Mm-hmm. One of like the most interesting times. It also goes deep into like the faith militant and everything. If there are any other topics that you guys want to hear us discuss, we would love to hear those in the comments. Please let us know. Because right now we kind of have these first 6 episodes pretty easily scripted. We're just going to kind of talk about the episodes of the show, and we'll probably do like a season recap at the end as well. But after that, we're going to have a lot of time between now and Hot D Season 3. So please, shoot anything that appeals to you, show or book related. We're happy to discuss it. I think we're going to do a few episodes that are going to be straight up off the bat spoiler centric. But all right, so like now let's officially enter spoilers. And if we're going to do that, we should talk about our fortune teller friend.
Yes, that was another great scene. So this fortune teller kind of walks up to Dunk and Egg. They're in town. They're getting their breakfast. They're gathering up the eggs, and she says something to the effect to Dunk like, "You will be rich." And what else does she say to him?
Rich as a
Lannister.
Yeah.
And of course, Dunk is probably not used to. I can't tell if he believes it or not, but he almost seems like he's like, "Ooh, that sounds good." Yeah,
he
might be a little skeptical.
That's why he kind of laughs whenever he gives,
all right.
Whenever she gives Egg's prophecy. An Egg is shell-shocked.
Right.
Because while he
Now
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, something changes when she looks at Egg. I don't know if I was telling Doug this earlier, but it's like she's grifting a little bit when she's talking to Dunk. It's like letting him know, generic stuff he'd want to hear. But like she almost has this, I don't know if it just comes up with Targaryens or if her ability comes out just rarely. But she sees she sees Egg, and it's, you'll be a king, and you'll die
in a fire.
Die in fire, and it was interesting because it's only in the source material in. Was it in World of Ice and Fire, or was it where was that?
So I believe a World of Ice and Fire. The one piece of material I've not had a chance to read. I had ordered it through Amazon and then never came. I'm still waiting for my refund. I just need to order it again so I can actually go through that. That's the only I do know a lot of the material from it just from content consumption and constant reading through wikis and But
That's where it is. That's where that it's not a blurb. It's more than a blurb, but it's not extremely fleshed out. But it does say talk about him dying in a fire
which is
at
a reference to the tragedy at Summer Hall.
Tragedy at Summerall.
I get
Yes,
worried
and
too.
that's where
I get
Dunk
worried a
dies.
bit with the storytelling when they start adding these kind of things in there because it makes it awkward for people like me who do know the ending. Because then I know a coworker's going to be like, "Hey, what was up with that witch lady?" And I'm just going to be like, "Do you want me to tell you or not?" But my face is
Yeah,
going to say enough that they're going to kind of be able to be like, "Oh, so this is a
yeah. I wonder
thing."
if it's yeah. I wonder if it's gonna. I wonder if Dunk and Egg. If I know they're planning to do so many seasons of it. I wonder if they're planning to end in
That's the most
with
logical
Summer.
conclusion. That is the end of both of their stories.
But they've got a long way to go.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know how old
they'll
Egan
have to get new
was, but I
actors.
mean,
So what I've understood is the way that it was laid out by Era Parker. What I'm guessing is they'll do 5 seasons with these guys, recast for 5 seasons, then recast for another 5, according to Era Parker's plan of 15 seasons. It sounds like he really wants to honor George's vision for the full story for Dunk and Egg.
George has got to keep up, though.
We will get deep. I would love to do an episode just on like the tragedy of Summerhall. Like
Right,
that would
right,
be a great episode. I kind of want to talk about like
of
how I
course.
feel the pacing is going to go for these last 3 episodes. So I think this first episode they'll be kind of like discussing what the trial of the 7 will be and the stakes and everything. And then I'm guessing like in
Hmm.
episode 5 it'll be everyone trying to, or it'll be him trying to gather 7 knights. Because everything that's
Yes,
the last 3 episodes are all happening within or I guess no, he'll be locked up for most of this. He might be locked up for like half the episode.
he was locked up in the in one of the previews. There was a scene of him in some kind
Yeah.
of like jail or dungeon, and I feel like someone was talking to him through a screen. But I think you're right about that. I think the next episode we're going to see the direct aftermath. He's going to be in that room that he met Baelor in, and I think that's the same room. They're sitting at a table, and like I said, he's going to get. Is it Aerion that challenges him to a trial? Or, no, Aerion.
Yeah, no, it's Aerion.
Yeah,
He
because they
insists
say
on
they're
the
going to
trial
take
of the
his
7.
cut off his hand, and then Aerion, yeah, does that. I think you're right. I think that's going to be the next episode. It's going to be the direct aftermath. It's I wonder one thing I wondered was you don't hear from Tansel at all after that last scene. All you hear is that her and Stilly Pate
Brings the shield.
gets her out, and yeah, and I wonder if we're gonna. I have a feeling we're gonna see Tansel again. I think they're gonna have some more dialogue.
With how much time we have, with how
Um,
many episodes we have left, and
yeah,
I mean, because we're coming up to the back end of the novella already. They're going to have to put in some scenes that me and you are unaware of there being there, and Tansel would be a great one to
yeah,
have in there.
oh yeah, and we haven't seen Stilly Pate. Think Stilly Pate gets him his armor right when the Trial 7's about to start, right? Because remember, he's been working on the armor, and they haven't actually picked it up yet.
That is correct, I do believe.
So we might not see that till the last episode, but I think you're right. It's going to be the aftermath, and
I
then
think the
episode
last
5 will
episode will
be
be just the fight. That'll be all it is.
yeah, no, because of course we've got and then there's the last little bit with Makar and Dunk.
Oh yeah, that might be a closing scene too. They could fit that in the
Yeah,
trial. The trial of the 7 has to be in the
yeah,
last
they could.
episode, though.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
has to be in the last episode.
yeah.
If they put that in
Of
episode
course, of
5,
course.
it'll kind of give the long night happening, and then we go get King's Landing
Yeah,
afterwards
yeah.
vibes. The joke you always heard was like it's like after Harry defeated Voldemort, then the last movie is just like him winning like the Quidditch Cup for like his house for Gryffindor. Like
I never actually thought about that. That'd be
Yeah,
hilarious.
it was like a meme
Find
that was
some
made. All right, we are
yeah.
way over time once again. Every episode we say we're gonna get shorter, and every episode we get longer. But this was an episode worth diving into.
I agree.
Luke, always a pleasure, my friend. Audience, thank you so much for being with us. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe, please blow up the comments. Tell us what you want to see, because we will be talking about a lot of stuff that's not just Night of the Seven Kingdoms in a couple of weeks. We're gonna release the episode for next week a little earlier. We're gonna probably release. We kind of were loosely talking about it because the episode comes out on Friday to avoid conflicting with the Super Bowl. So I think we'll record on Saturday and then release on Monday. So when you're sitting there with your Super Bowl hangover, turn us on. So thank you guys, Luke. Anything else you want to tell everybody at home?
I think that's it. Just the last thing, if you might want to start reading Fire and Blood. That's some good reading. If you want to,
I need to get a new copy.
Some future content we're doing.
I gave
future
my
content
copy
we're doing
to my cousin Aaron. If you're listening to this, I hope you're enjoying it. I need to get a new copy.
Yeah.
I gave my first copy to a former coworker back in Nashville. I'm donating Fire and Blood to everybody because I think it's a great read. It's maybe my favorite piece of his book.
That's it for me.
It's like my favorite piece of work he's made to read. All right, that'll do it for us, folks. Please have a great rest of your night. Cheers to you all. All right, see you guys next week.
Thank you for joining us. See you next week for more Westeros and whiskey.